We begin with concerning news about the water supply in the town of Beque. A recent note to residents indicates the town's water supply was at times in violation of Environmental Protection Agency regulations in the past year. Our Adrian Thomas has been following this story. He joins us live in studio with all the details. Adrian.
Stephanie, every water utility across the U.S. treats its water source with trace amounts of disinfecting elements to kill harmful bacteria, but issues arise when those chemicals levels are too high. Within the last few days, Beque residents were notified their drinking water reached an unsafe level of trihalomethane, or TTHM, over the last year. The Environmental Protection Agency says this disinfecting agent should not exceed 80 parts per billion in drinking water, but it was found the average in Beque's drinking water over the last year was 83 parts per billion. Prolonged exposure to these unsafe levels could lead to liver damage and kidney damage, cancer, and nervous system damage. Residents have just found out about this and they want answers. Unlike other places in Mesa County, Beque, Colorado is not served by one large water utility. The small Mesa County town has its own water treatment plant fed by the Colorado River. The water plant's director, who was unavailable for an on-camera interview for this story, confirmed over text that TTHM levels in Beque's water were, quote, high in May and August, but wouldn't say how much, just that they were over the 80 parts per billion threshold outlined by the EPA. Residents are concerned.
I was appalled. I've lived here for years. My family moved here back in the 70s. To not let the residents know that our water was this bad is unthinkable.
I don't know if I can bathe my son without chloroform or anything getting into his skin. I don't have a filter on the faucet.
Multiple Beque residents showed up to speak to us in Beque's town center for this story. One mother is also concerned for one of her children.
He got some rashes over in July and August that just covered his hands. Every time he'd wash his hands, he'd come back saying that they're really dry and itchy. His doctor didn't know what was causing it.
I'm disgusted. We keep paying our bills every month, being lied to about, we're having safe drinking water, and it's not true.
The director of Beque's water treatment operation told us over text that the water is sampled on a quarterly basis for TTHM levels. He provided a report from September showing the TTHM levels are now sitting around 40 parts per billion, but we wanted to see the quarterly reports from the past year showing just how high the TTHM levels got. We visited Beque's town hall to make a records request, and we were met by a woman who says she sits on the town's board of trustees. She claims the water is fine.
Been drinking this water for 18 years.
Millions of people get their water from the Colorado River, including those in the Clifton Water District in the Grand Valley. But making this water safe to drink and use in your home is all about following strict sanitation guidelines outlined by the EPA and state health department agencies. Residents I spoke to in Beque feel that hasn't been the case here.
I want to know how they're filtering the water and how they're treating the water, because it seems like we're not being told any answers.
We had no idea that it was actually dangerously high at some points.
I want them to be honest and tell us if the water's safe to drink. I won't drink it. I'm not going to have my wife drink it, my kids drink it.
Now, Beque's town administrator told me over the phone Tuesday she was informed the TTHM chemicals got to unsafe levels because of the water treatment plant getting too hot, which ultimately caused this reaction. The water treatment plant has since installed air conditioning units to control the temperature of the plant, but residents are still wondering why it took so long to be told about these EPA violations. We'll continue following this developing story. Live in the studio, Adrian Thomas, Fox 4 News.